Are you ready for some football? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Betting the Preseason. It's time for some Thursday night football, and I am your host, Charlie DiSturco, taking you along this journey. Of course, I'm not alone today. You're going to hear from Sean Koerner in just a bit on how to handicap this game between the Eagles and the New England Patriots. Betting the preseason is hard. It's far from easy. So projecting these quarterbacks out, all of this you're going to get into and more. We're going to help you get as much information as possible before the game kicks off. But just a friendly reminder before we start that if you want more from Koerner, who you're about to hear from in a second, and Chris Raybon, you can save $20 on their number one ranked fantasy football projections by using the promo code Koerner20 over at FantasyLabs. FantasyLabs NFL gives you full access to rankings and projections led by Koerner and Raybon from the draft through the regular season, customizable cheat sheets for every league type, position tiers, strategy, content, and more. That's promo code Koerner20. Click the link in the episode description to get started today. And so now we welcome in Sean Koerner to break down the game tonight. Sean, I know it's just the preseason, but it's an island game on a Thursday night. You know, me and you, we need a preseason for our pregame routine of watching Thursday night football as well. What are you doing before the game and where are you watching it tonight?
Well, before the game, I'm still probably going to be updating projections, seeing, who's like actually playing in this game, who might be starting. And then once the game kicks off, I'm probably going out somewhere to watch, my first half bet, which I'll be giving out in just a few minutes, but definitely going out to enjoy this game and watch it somewhere.
Just like a pro, teasing out what the bet might be coming in the first half. But just a reminder about this game today, Eagles, Patriots. Patriots are 3-point favorites, a total right around 35 and a half. You know, we talk about quarterback battles. Jalen Hurts is a question mark to play. We don't know if the Eagles will be throwing out their starters. So it sets up more like a QB2 battle between Kenny Pickett, who was atrocious last week, and Tanner McKee on the Eagles side of things. And then in New England, we'll probably see all four quarterbacks, I'd assume. We'll talk about that in a second. But head coach Gerard Mayo did say that we should see more of Drake May. So, Sean, take me through, your quarterback projections and specifically in the first half. Should we see a little bit more from the starters now that it's the second week of preseason for these teams, or is it going to be the Drake May and Kenny Pickett show?
Yeah, I think it will be the Drake May, Kenny Pickett show in the first half. Last week I lost on the Eagles. I think it was first quarter because I thought there was a chance they were going to play the starters. Sirianni teased that, and of course they didn't play. I'm not expecting them to play here either. And on the Patriots side, I think we will get to see Drake May for more than one drive in this game. That was pretty bizarre how they handled that
Yeah.
quarterback rotation last week. So I have a feeling, we're going to see Jacoby Brissett for 1 to 2 drives and then Drake May potentially for the rest of the first half. Bailey Zappi played a ton last week, and I think that was more of his final hurrah for the Patriots. And if anything, I think he's going to get, fourth quarter mop up duty to close this game if I had to guess. I think we're going to see plenty of May in the first half, but I think he could struggle against this Eagles pass rush tonight. The Patriots offensive line struggled a lot last week. They're still mixing and matching, trying to see, what they're going to do with this offensive line going in the season. So Bailey Zappi was pressured 8 times against the Panthers backups. The Eagles defensive line will be a much tougher test tonight. So on their side, we could see some starters like Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis for the first drive or two. And their second unit has been excellent. They have some really young, good, first round caliber type players and Nolan Smith, N'Kobe Dean, Quinyon Mitchell, Patrick
Right.
Johnson, Jeremiah Trotter were excellent last week. So I think it's going to just be tough for the Patriots to put up, points in the first half here.
Right. And, I was looking on Twitter and seeing, Drake May was sacked, what, 5 or 6 dropbacks in a
Oh
session during
yeah.
practice. It was something like that. So that offensive line is not going to hold up, especially
Yes.
against a defense like the Philadelphia Eagles. And, you hinted at him having a hard time kind of scoring and putting points on the board. That kind of plays into your first half bet for tonight's game.
Yeah, so for the first half, I'm going to be taking the under 17 and a half here. You can get it at minus 115 right now, I believe is the best price, but 17 and a half is such a key number. And I think this will be a lower scoring first half. And, on the Eagle side, again, last week they didn't play the starters, and I thought, oh, it'll be okay. Kenny Pickett's, a below average starter, high end backup, but as you said, he was awful, and he's probably going to play most of the first half. He did not look good. He was inviting pressure, taking too many sacks. He just has a ton of young, inexperienced pass catchers at his disposal. So similar to the Eagles, the Patriots second unit defense played very well last week. They shut out the Panthers in the first half. So, I think the Eagles will also struggle to score in the first half. So, I love taking the under 17 and a half if I feel confident it's going to be a lower scoring first half, which in this case I think it will be.
Yeah, and maybe we blink and we see Bailey Zappi under center somehow again in that first quarter. It might be
Ooh,
to your
that'd be
benefit with
great.
the under. That last week seeing that because I
Yeah.
tailed the Patriots pick, I was like, what the heck? Where is Drake May? But we talk about betting in game, and obviously we don't know who's gonna play, right? We're projecting it. Sean, you have your quarterback projections that you release on
Yeah.
how we expect the game is gonna go from a quarterback rotation standpoint. But truly, at the end of the day, we don't know. And you went 8-3 last week betting in game, and I think that that's kind of the moral of the story here is that the beauty or lack thereof of it is that we don't know what's going to happen sometimes. So trying to figure out and projecting these top end quarterbacks, we can get advantage by taking and looking at the quarterback 3 and quarterback 4s when they come in. Tell me why you think, betting in game provides such a staunch edge.
Yeah, I love betting in game for preseason because you already hit the nail on the head. Like going into the game, I'm guessing, we're all guessing. I don't know who's gonna play quarterback when. So that's why my QB charts are helpful. That's just a guess going into the game, right? But once the game starts, we get a lot more information. We can see when the backup or the second quarterback comes in the game. And then I'm a lot more confident in my rest of game projection. And sometimes the market doesn't do a great job of like shifting when I think the other team might have the edge or vice versa when it comes to the total as well. So I just think a lot of the value can be had in game, taking advantage of the market. And again, once the game starts, we're learning a lot. So I'm way more confident in my plays in game. Although I'm not saying I'm not confident in this first half under. I'm just saying that when it comes to in game, I think that's usually when we're finding the most value.
Honestly, if they get rid of Drake May or Kenny Pickett earlier, that might honestly help your first half under, unless it's a
Yeah.
pick six that's thrown. But
Exactly.
so like so when you're looking at this game in particular, right? So obviously you laid out that you're projecting May and Pickett to take hold of that first half. The second half, we should see more of that QB3, QB4 on both sides. So take me through what you're thinking here as far as an in-game angle.
Yeah, so on the Patriots side, again, they had just a really bizarre quarterback rotation last week. I think, again, I'm just guessing, it's preseason, that we will see Brissett and May, some sort of combination of those two in the first half. And then the second half, we'll get to see Joe Milton again, with Bailey Zappi closing it out. And, Milton looked excellent last week. He looked like the best quarterback on the Patriots last week, if we're being honest. So I think they want to get him some extended run here. He's not really expected to play in season at all unless they have one or two injuries. So they're going to want to get him some run here. So I think he plays most of the second half. So that's a plus for the Patriots. I think that bodes well because again he has a good arm and rushing ability. Rushing ability in the second half is very valuable. So I think he's an above average second half week 2 of the preseason quarterback. Where on the Eagles side, I'm expecting Tanner McKee to start the second half and potentially close out the game. Based on last year, this is actually when we might see the fourth string quarterback and Will Greer. That's how they handled the rotation last year. So he could close out the fourth quarter. I consider both quarterbacks to pretty much be third string quarterbacks. So we have, Joe Milton, who I would say for preseason is a really good backup quarterback and going up against a couple third stringers. So I think the edge will be the Patriots in the second half. So I agree with the Patriots -3 full game. If you look at the first half, they're -1.5. I think that should probably be a pick 'em. I think the first half is pretty even, but the second half they should probably be, -2.5. Or yeah, I think they're going to win the second half by 3 points. Let's just put it that way. So if they're floating Patriots -1.5 for the second half, or just anything under -3, I think that's when I'm going to go in on the Patriots.
I just laugh because we have a groupers channel over at the Action Network in Slack, and Matt Mitchell hates Joe Milton, says that he's, the worst. Anytime he's in, he can fade. And then Sean comes in and he's like, no, he's actually pretty good, and he did look good. So I
Yeah.
definitely I listen, Sean, I totally get it, and I agree with you. I just think it's funny that Matt Mitchell might be, throwing his fingernails to the chalkboard right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was kind of in that camp last week. I thought he was going to be inconsistent as a passer. But again, there's a huge difference between regular season and preseason. When it comes to the preseason, we have different quarterbacks that are preseason heroes, like Sam Ellinger. Zach Wilson's usually good in preseason, Drew Lock. And again, these guys with rushing upside are even
Right.
better in preseason. So Joe Milton, yeah, if you throw him out there week 6 and they're playing the Ravens, he's probably going to bomb. But, week 2 of the preseason, he's playing up against third, fourth stringers. He's going to be much better. So I have a different brain when I'm evaluating quarterbacks, regular season NFL versus preseason. It's a completely different breed. And I think Joe Milton's going to be much, much better in preseason.
Listen, we get it, Sean. You wear different hats. Every time you're on here is a different hat on. Sometimes there's a preseason hat. Sometimes there's the regular season one. Just a
Exactly.
reminder, though, obviously, for the in-game betting, follow Sean in the Action app at the underscore odds maker. That's where he'll be logging plays in real time. He also, talks through the Discord. So come and hang there as well. Because Sean is going to be giving out picks throughout the entire game today and, come the weekend as well. But before we say goodbye, I just want to remind everybody again that if you want more from Sean Koerner and Chris Raybon, you can save $20 on their number one ranked fantasy football projections by using code Koerner20 over at Fantasy Labs. Fantasy Labs NFL gives you full access to rankings and projections led by Koerner and Chris Raybon from the draft through the regular season, customizable cheat sheets for every league type, position tiers, strategy content, and more. That's promo code Koerner20. Click the link in the episode description to get started today. And that's going to do it for Thursday Night Football's betting preview in the preseason. Sean Koerner, you can get him in the app at the underscore odds maker, giving out the first half under and maybe a live look at the Pats in the second half. Tune in to see that. And also a reminder, Sean will be looking into prize picks and underdog entries after the show. Come hang out in our Discord because that's where Sean, if he finds a couple of props that he likes, he will be dropping there. But thanks everyone for tuning in. Best of luck and enjoy the island game.